half hour with the tragic deaths of those three college softball players in North Dakota. We'll talk to their parents in a moment, but first, NBC's John Yang has the latest on the story.
A mother's overwhelming grief at the remote farm pond in rural North Dakota where her daughter died. Claire Gamar and the other grieving parents visited the site where the bodies of their daughters, Kirsten Gamar, Ashley Neufeld, and Afton Williamson, were found Tuesday afternoon in Gamar's 1997 Jeep Cherokee. It was submerged in 10 feet of water, the doors and windows closed.
I can't believe she's gone. It's like half of your life just disappeared and will never be back.
Tire tracks led straight to the water's edge. Also inside, the body of Neufeld's dog, Easton. Gamar, 22, and Williamson, 20, were from California. 21-year-old Neufeld was from Manitoba in Canada. They'd been missing since Sunday night after making 2 frantic cell phone calls for help. Autopsy reports won't be available for several days, but authorities say it appears to have been an accident. After a day of mourning, the 2,700 students at Dickinson State University are trying for a sense of normalcy. That may be especially difficult for the school's championship softball team, where the 3 dead women were standouts. Kirsten Fleury is their head coach.
And I'm just trying to keep it together for these girls and everybody.
For the players, it'll mean taking the field without valued teammates and beloved friends.
Well, how's this going to color your college years, do you think?
It's scary. We don't live the life that we're invincible anymore. We just gotta be strong.
Natalie Martinez wasn't just a teammate, she was Neufeld's roommate and friend.
It's just one of the hardest things to go through the rest of my college years knowing that they're not going to be here.
A team that forged a bond on the playing field, now united in grief. For today, John Yang, NBC News, Dickinson, North Dakota.
With us exclusively now are the parents of those 3 young women. Kirsten's parents, Lenny and Claire Gamar, Afton's parents, Fred and Liz Hutton, and Ashley's parents, Phil and Bev Neufeld. And as I say good morning, there is no other way to begin this than to say my sincere condolences. I am so sorry for your loss.
Thank you.
Have any of you heard anything from authorities that might make sense of this, might shed some light on how this tragic accident occurred?
Other than, this is one of the things that the students here at Dickinson, they just do the stars are so great out here and the sky is so good that this is something that you kids do. They just go looking at the stars. I mean, it's a small town. There's not a whole lot to do here.
You all went out, I believe most of you went out to the scene of this tragedy in the last day or so, and as you stood there and you looked at the surroundings, could you in any way logically piece together how this may have occurred, how their car ended up in that water?
No.
I could see how they couldn't see it. They were just headed for the opening in the fence. It was apparently a clear moon full night, and you could see the line they were taking was directly at their exit, and something got in their way.
Mr. and Mrs. Gamar.
It just snuck up.
Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I just think the stock dam snuck up onto them quicker than what they were expecting, and they just at that time realized that they were in trouble.
Mr. and Mrs. Gamar, I'd like to give all of the families a chance to tell us a little bit more about your daughters. Kirsten, I know, was a senior, a business major, played third base. What else should we know about her?
She was, we've been listening to interviews of folks back in San Diego that have grown up with her and played softball and gone to school with her, and also here we've gotten to spend a lot of time with her roommates and teammates this week. Everybody loved her universally. She was considered a great person, a friend would want to have. I know we're going to miss her, but everybody else is too, and we're happy for all the support we've gotten from them. We spent yesterday evening in her dorm room with roommates and team members, and the stories that they told, she was a great, even better kid than we thought she was.
Mr. and Mrs. Hutton, I'd like to learn a little bit more about Afton. I know that she was a pitcher, she was a fierce competitor, and she was a really outstanding student as well. Tell me a little bit more about your daughter.
Well, Afton graduated from high school with a 4.3 GPA. She was
of National Honor Society, California Scholastic Federation, graduated in the top 1% of her class. She was a great kid, very compassionate, very loyal to her friends and her family, very caring and loving individual, and loved it here in Dickinson. Was thrilled to be here.
Mr. and Mrs. Neufeld, Ashley was on a softball scholarship out there. She was studying psychology, I believe. Tell me more about your daughter.
She, as opposed to Afton, she definitely didn't have a 4.3 grade point average, but she loved the school. She lived for her friends. She's a very caring, very unselfish, happy individual. Hug them and love them, whether they're 2 or 82. It's my biggest point.
I'm so proud that the three of these young ladies have touched the amount of people that they have in this community and their communities back home. It's just overwhelming, the people that come up, and everybody says the same thing about your daughter. Their major characteristics, the big smiles, and everybody that you talk to, whether it's here, whether it's back home, people that didn't even know your daughter are telling you exactly the same thing.
You know, there are so many important questions yet to be answered here, and it's obviously in the early stages of an investigation, but is there some kind of cautionary tale here? Is there a word of caution for other students and other parents that you would like to share, any of you?
I don't think there's any caution needed. I mean, what happened was purely and simply an accident. The one thing I would like to say is that